I keep hearing this kind of repeated mantra. Joe Biden had good days and bad days. So my question is, if we accept that, and that's been going on for a while, how satisfied then is the populace with a president who's having good days and bad days? To me, that's a disqualifier,
Yeah.
and the party in control at the time should have taken that seriously and
Yeah.
invoked the constitutional remedy.
Michael, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that question because I've had that conversation with Biden people who would say to me, well, he has good days and bad days. And I'd say, if a CEO of a company,
Yep.
they said, well, he has good days and bad days. They say, well, no, the CEO needs to have just like a series of consistently good days. So I've never understood that defense. I think it's factually true because we saw him at the State of the Union. He was fine at the State of
But
the
he
Union.
read a teleprompter.
No, he
I mean, I'm
didn't. No, he
sorry.
riffed. He did plenty of riffing at that State of the Union. He didn't just
Okay.
read the
I mean,
teleprompter.
dude, if you
But
rest for
but
as
but
long as you
Sean,
did and
but
get
but
jacked
Sean,
up on Red Bull.
he had other good days. He had other good days. It's not like he had 99 bad days and one good days. I can't give you an exact calculation, but he had plenty of good days. But again, I go to Michael's points right on point. That's just not a defense to say, well, he had some good days. And it's also, I will say, not a defense to say, well, he's fine between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. That's not a defense either, because the presidency does not work like that. It's not like hosting a two-way program where you can just do it for an hour and then go take a nap.
I mean, I think the challenge, Michael, is that when they put points on the board those first 18 months, passing all that legislation, if you go back, the headline was always, or the story was always, Biden was in private, twisting arms. Like, he never used the bully pulpit. He was never out there, right? Because he couldn't. They couldn't risk that he was having a bad day. They couldn't risk the, kind of public freeze ups. So I think when the midterms happened and Democrats overperformed, I think their collective takeaway was we're being successful and the public is just rewarded us for the last 2 years, essentially, right? Because they exceeded expectations. Rather than saying, as you and Mark just said, he is so severely limited. Like, the Biden pushback today is, does anyone have an example of when Biden was not able to make a decision? Well, perhaps the decision needed to be made at 8 p.m. and it wasn't made the next day till noon. Perhaps, when he was not having a good day, they had to delay it in general. Like,
That's their one pushback. And Dan, as you suggest, it's just crap. It's just crap.
It is crap. I'll tell you this. I work in the healthcare industry. I was a federal prison chaplain for 20 years, did 8 years of hospice, and now I work with long-term and cognitive care. And to me, for several years, just watching President Biden's gait, his facial expressions, the Parkinsonian affect, the president could not function on many situations. I'm sure of it. Plus, what I saw with my own eyes.
Yeah.
So here's my question: if we can't move past the political expediency of someone who's a commander in chief, the nuclear football, all of those things, diplomacy, whatever, and impose the remedies that's provided in the Constitution, whatever party it is. I'm 65. I've what, 25, 30 years left on this earth. I got kids and grandkids. It would be my expectation and hope, maybe altruistically, that we could move past this for the good of the country, the nation, and the world, and our future. And that's where I'm when I listened to Rufus last night talk about good days and bad days, I'm going, that is not an excuse. And
Yeah.
if Rufus saw that, how can he? I know he's a lawyer and he's a partisan, and I appreciate that. But still, can't we rise above this a little bit?
Is Rufus a lawyer? Did you say he's a
no,
lawyer?
no, he's not a lawyer.
He's not a
Yeah.
lawyer.
He's
Okay.
not a lawyer. He's a
One of the points the book makes, which is correct, is that he shouldn't have run in 20. And he shouldn't have run in 20 in part because of Hunter.
Right. That's the
You
other.
know, but he also shouldn't have run because of his condition. And I will tell you, the press's failure. Donald Trump was held accountable, not for everything, but for plenty of things in the 20 election. Plenty of things. The press did not hold Joe Biden, who campaigned from his basement because of COVID, who didn't do interviews, who clearly was exhibiting cognitive decline. The press is accountable. The Democratic voters chose him, though. But I will say the family should not have let him run. It shouldn't have even been a consideration in 20 or 24. It shouldn't have been a consideration as far as I'm concerned, as someone who has a kid and someone who saw his cognitive decline, as I've said many times, and not just lately, people on Twitter saying, "Oh, why didn't you say this before?" I saw it in 2017, and I've been saying it since 2017.
Well,
Sean.
Mark, you said that the Democratic voters chose him.
That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.